Surge!
Hello and welcome to a new reading vlog. So this week I'm going to just be mood reading, whatever I feel like. I'm starting with the Briar Book of the Dead, which is what my girlfriend picked when I asked her to choose for one of my TBR books. So we're going to start with that one, a book about witches and woods and creepy things. It should be fantastic. Today I am going out to see a movie with my ex-boyfriend, who I'm just going to nickname Leo. So Leo and I are seeing Longlegs with Nick Cage. I'm probably going to pee my pants and will regret seeing the movie. But what's done is done. I've decided to go. And then this evening, like literally straight after, I'm coming home, throwing on a dress, heading right back out to my cousin Phoebe's birthday. She's 22 or 23, one of those, that now they're having a fight. We're going to a wine bar for dinner, and then we're going out to dancing. So I'll do as much as my body can take, and then I'll be coming home because my kids are coming back first thing in the morning. So that's on the agenda today. Okay, so I completely and utterly forgot. I've already read something. So I did listen to Everything You Ever Wanted by Louisa Salma. This is about a boring woman who is bored with her life and decides to hop through this wormhole that's in the ocean that goes to another planet that seems to have a cult-like community on it, but it's a one-way trip. Once you go there, you cannot return. But she's just so fed up with her life here and the pointlessness of it that she thinks, well, this is a better alternative than, say, unaliving myself. That's where she's at. Either I'm going to punch my ticket permanently or I'm going to migrate to a new planet. And so it sounded like it could be interesting, but it did the book. I listened to 3 hours. The book was spending a lot of time back on Earth, which was so dull. So I get why she wanted to leave her life, because it was mind-numbingly dull and banal. But therefore I was more interested in the life on this new planet with these very weird settlers. Didn't get as much of that. I'm assuming perhaps as the book continues on, you do get more that's going on there. There was a very unsettling, suspicious vibe with the people on this new planet and the hierarchical structure going on there. But 3 hours into the book, and I didn't want to listen to any more. I was dreading playing it, because I thought, this is just not entertaining me. I'm not connecting to the characters. All that it's got going for it is this possibility of a cool idea about the planet and the people on there. But there's so many books that have that as an idea and execute it really well with the plot and with the characters and with the writing and with the atmosphere. So I thought, no. This is a DNF because it's just not to my tastes. But it just felt very litfic-y with a kind of sci-fi zest on top. And now I'll send you back to the previous footage when I was talking about what the rest of my day is going to look like. I just got home. Hey Sylvie. The restaurant was fantastic, really, really good food. So you could see my clothes everywhere. There she is. Beautiful place. The food was magnificent. And then we went to the clubs, and it's 2 a.m. currently, 2 a.m. And a beautiful girl there. I've never been gone this long. And no. We were packed in like sardines. The music was great, don't get me wrong, but the amount of people, and you're just getting jostled, people spilling drinks all over your feet. And I'm deaf, and everyone is just hitting vapes. So it was just constant smell of scented tobacco or dope. Okay. There was weed in there.
You can put your weed in there.
I did leave, but I left my cousin in the very, very capable hands of her wonderful friends. They're beautiful, gorgeous, lovely women. She's got an amazing group of friends, and I love them all. So I had a great time with the girl gang this evening, but I'm done. I am rickety wrecked, and I'm going to get into bed now. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Guys, I thought I was recording. I wasn't, and I'm so low energy because of last night, which was still amazing. Had a great time with my cousin. Beautiful girls. Would go to the restaurant again. Clubbing, I'm done. Never again. Can't do it. I can't be out in the clubs past 1 a.m. in the morning. It's not for me. It's not worth feeling like this, even though I don't even drink alcohol, you know? And Long Legs that I saw with Leo, that, look, for a horror film, it's very artistic and stylish. It's an A24 film. It's what you expect from them. But for me, should I go closer? I'm sorry, I'm with this, but I can't be bothered doing anything more than putting on lip gloss today. That's the most that I could do. So I could take these off, but then I can't see you. But maybe I just won't see you. I think I just won't see you. Oh, but then I feel weird. Sorry guys, you're gonna have to deal with the glare. I think though, going forward, I'm not going to watch any more horror films. They don't fill my cup. I appreciate this for what it was, but I'd rather not. Now, I have finished a book because last night when I came back and I was in bed and it was like almost 3 in the morning, I was wired. So I did finish The Briar Book of the Dead. And, okay, this ended up being disappointing for me because the blurb of the book sounded so intriguing and so full of magic. The execution, however, did not deliver on any of what was promised. The book felt very messy and clunky and overly padded. There were bits in their expositions where the characters would literally retell these sort of old fairy tales that I didn't really feel had a significant purpose to the plot or the book. And so the pace was just incredibly slow. And the characters themselves and the writing didn't really do anything for me. And the reason I didn't DNF it at 100 pages is because what was promised in the blurb was so interesting to me that I just thought maybe, if I push through all the way to the end, I will be rewarded. That gambit did not pay dividends, unfortunately. This ended up being less about a book about magic and all the elements that you're promised and more about sibling fighting, in-house family drama. And I just couldn't care less. There were magic things in play there, like the ghosts and the leech lords, but they just didn't deliver. It just felt so unsatisfactory the way that they were utilized and sort of concluded in the book. It just felt meh. You know, at the end of the book, I was like, I shouldn't have pushed through. I would say if the idea of it does intrigue you, keep in mind that it's mostly going to be focused more on the family's issues than the magic bits hinted at in the plot. And if by 100 pages in, you're not thoroughly invested, it's not worth pushing through to find out about who are these leech lords and what's going to happen with the ghosts. There was a romance in there too, but that romance was so paltry and limp. I would probably have preferred it wasn't even in there. So yes, I did speak more eloquently about it, but I just can't bother doing it again. It was a 2.75 for me. So that was a bit of a downer, but the next book I'm picking up is at the library. It's called Dreadful, and it's supposed to be about a dark evil lord who wakes up with sort of amnesia and finds himself in his life and thinking, what the is going on? Who was I? And do I want to be that person anymore? Do I want to be this evil mastermind living in this super cliche Dark Lord air? Or what am I going to do? So the premise of it sounds funny. It sounds entertaining. I do need something a little bit more lighthearted, not so serious. And that is what I'm going to pick up from the library before I go to a shopping mall today, because V's friend's having a party at a laser tag place. So Indy and I do have to hang around because it's not local and do laps of the mall. So I might take you along for that with me as well. I might visit a bookstore if they've got one, you know. And then I'll come home and lie down on the floor and just decompose. I don't even know if I have the bandwidth to start a new book today. That is how brain dead I currently am. I just want to stare out the window at the leaves rustling in the wind and eat really sugary processed crap. So anyway, I'll see you guys when we return or when I have read another book. Hello guys, so I decided to totally wildcard this vlog.
Wildcard, bitches! Yeah! What?
And change the theme. It's still going to be just a mood reading, but I am turning it into how much do I realistically read in a week so I can compare it to the other one. So just like the other one, it is actually just 5 days of reading instead of a whole week. But I thought, let's do it. Let's just get it out so I can compare and contrast, because I'm just thinking about it constantly, like how much am I actually reading now? Not that it even matters, but for some reason my brain is fixating on it just because I feel like I'm reading less. So I want to know, is that true? Am I just tripping? So yesterday, so I'm obviously not including the first 2 books because I have no idea how long I actually spent reading those. But yesterday I did read for a total of 1 hour and 5 minutes. And I did read this book, and in that time I read 155 pages of this book. So this is Dreadful by Caitlin Rozakis, and I am enjoying it. So hello, Blue. Hello. It's fun. It's slow paced. You've got the Dread Lord Gavrax. Is that his name? He goes by Gav now, and he's trying to gather his thoughts. I don't know how much I can tell you. Okay, I can't really tell you much because the plot is quite obtuse and vague. So he's trying to figure out who he is, what he was doing. He seems to be part of some elaborate, nefarious plan orchestrated by multiple dark wizards and sorceresses. He currently has a princess in his basement. So that was what his task was, to capture this princess and keep her under lock and key. He doesn't know for what purpose, but at the same time, he feels kind of bad about it. So he's trying to sort of make her stay here as comfortable as possible and to give her some skills so perhaps she can end up rescuing herself, so to speak. He's also now befriending his goblin minions and trying to make life more comfortable for them, just trying to be a stand-up guy, while still keeping up the farce of being an evil warlord. So he's learning some magic, some things even though he hasn't forgotten everything. So he's still capable of, like I said, performing spells and magic. There's summoning demons happening. There's an intense attraction to one of the other evil sorceresses going on. I have a feeling the princess might be a love interest. I'm not really vibing with them. I'm hoping for like a friendship kind of vibe, like Hermione and Harry, even though I wanted them to have a romance. They didn't, but they were friends. So I'm getting that sort of camaraderie. And I'm feeling more of attraction, obviously, between him and the sexy witch. But yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, it is slow paced, but I'm in the mood for it. You know, it's one of those things with books. Sometimes it really does help what you're in the mood for. Depending on how my energy levels, my interests, I could read this at any other time, maybe not enjoy it. Same with other books that I've rated 5 stars. Perhaps if I'd read them on a different day, less likely. So I feel like with books, the experience is so heavily affected by your current state, to be honest, which is a sucky thing for the books. If you just, perhaps read them at the exact right time, you would love them, but it is what it is. That's life. So I am reading this. I'll do some more reading today. And then we'll see. We'll tally it up after 5 days. So today's Monday.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
And we'll see how it compares to last time. I believe last time was a bit hectic though. I think it was during school holidays. So my kids were home, which means less reading for me. So that one wasn't highly accurate either, but I still feel like I'm even reading less than that. But yeah, it's now a how much do I read in a week video. So I'll touch base with you. I'll put now as well today's tally on the screen. Obviously I'll tally it up at nighttime. Blue, you haven't got the skills, babe, to go climbing that. Please don't. I love her, but she's the least cat-like out of all the cats. Her climbing skills and falling skills are not up to par. Oh no, she's gonna try. Blueby, why don't you just come for pats? Mummy pet you? I pet you? I'm still exhausted today, so I'm still in my pajamas. What is it? My Care Bear pajamas. I'm so tired. We had fun though at time zone and stuff yesterday, but I need a few days of not going out to recover, but I'm not going to get it. Today's the only day I'm sort of getting besides school pickup and drop off, so I'm trying to make the most of it and chill, but I'm getting my work done first, my trading done, and then I'll sit down. And she did it. Oh, that's what I mean. Are you all right? Did you at least land on your feet? I think you landed on your feet. That's a good thing, hey? Yeah, you landed on your feet, boobs. Yay. Poor baby. Oh, there she goes. Yeah, just brush it off. What was I going to say? Tomorrow I'm meant to be going on a date with Beauty. I still have this feeling. I've messaged her this morning to confirm, and I haven't received a message. It is just past lunchtime, so we'll see. I wouldn't be mad about it, to be honest with you. I am not in the mood anyway. And like I said, with her, as we've spoken now for almost 4 weeks, I'm just getting the vibe she's not looking for a serious relationship with a woman. So if she does cancel, I will just clarify that over text instead of waiting in person. I was going to ask that kind of thing in person. I'll just clarify over text, and if she's really not, then I'll just meet up with her as a friend at some stage, just so I can meet her in real life. I would like to do that after talking for so long, but she's never sent me any pics and stuff. So she's been asking me to send her pics, like what's your outfit of the day and blah blah blah. Show me a pic from tonight when I went out clubbing. She's never reciprocated that. So in the back of my head, it's still like catfish, maybe. It's always that way. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow on Tuesday. Okay guys, so as you saw, I'm just gonna hide the cat thing a little bit. There we go. Put it in there. Oh, that's what's missing. I was going to say, because normally, yeah, you can't see the cat thing. I did do some reading yesterday, so I did a decent amount of reading. I read a lot faster when the children aren't home because I'm not having to filter out other noises in the background. So yeah, I got a decent chunk in, and I'll tell you what I read. I've got to go get the books. So first up, we have Dreadful by Caitlin Rozakis, and I enjoyed it. I gave this a 4 stars. So I did finish this one off. If you really liked, this is a tamer, less crass, a bit more fun version of How to Become a Dark Lord or Die Trying. I think that's the title. I'll put a picture up of the other book. So if that one was a bit too crass and hectic for you, this is a cozier, gentler version of that. Like, people still die. Okay, it's not completely bloodless, but it's just not as gory as the other one. And I had a good time. Look, there is a romance hinted in there. I wasn't shipping that one. I was shipping a different one. I think it wrapped up kind of well. And yeah, it was a pleasant read. Sort of that whole thing, if you could decide who you wanted to be, who would you be, is the main premise. And that you're not beholden to continue being who you were before. It's never too late to start fresh and make a different life for yourself. But yep, I had a nice time. This was a 4-star read in the end. And then I picked up The Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood. This one, our version in Australia, has the holographic. I think the American version looks quite different. I ended up giving this a 4.25 stars. This is 100% a mix of the movie Afterlife of the Party and the book The Dead Romantics. So combine those two and that's what you've got, but very heavily close to Afterlife of the Party. Basically, you have a lonely woman, a lonely virgin, of course, and she dies one night choking on a microwave burger. She ends up in the other place, which strangely enough is a laundromat, and there's a woman there who's quite in her face, and she tells her, "You're dead, babes, and let's get your afterlife started." And she's just freaking out. She's like, "I can't." They show her a reel of her life, which reminds me of another movie where they got to see their life in video form. I'll put that up here. And she is trying her best to be given a second chance. While she's there, this very handsome man pops in, and there's a spark between them, and he also can't believe he's died, but turns out he's not dead. He was just a visitor. He'd been put under anesthetic, so he just sort of popped in. But her afterlife therapist sees the connection between these two and thinks, life's pretty boring up here for me. I'm given a one-time second chance pass that I can give out to anyone I wish. So she gives it to her, and she says, "You've got 10 days to get that guy who we think is your soulmate to kiss you of his own accord, and you can stay alive because no one's discovered her body yet downstairs. So she can sort of be put back into it. She's like, yeah, man, I'll do it. I'll take it. And she's told that the guy isn't going to remember you. So she's got to try and convince him in 10 days, this person she's never met before, to kiss her. And she's got to find him based on his first name and the initial of his last name in London. So she's sent back, and that is her quest. So along the way, we see that how she had formerly led a very solitary, boring life, now with this sort of impetus, this second chance to keep living, she is making a lot of different choices. She ends up collecting a ragtag crew of lovely people who are also just looking for friends, looking for a tribe, wanting to be part of something to help her on her quest, along with her grumpy neighbor. You can tell what's going to happen. I would say this is a very predictable book, but it was still just really enjoyable. It is like watching a rom-com. You know, it's a popcorn book. The main character, I would say, isn't that great. She's not the most likable lass. And the love story, it was all right. This book has all of the romance tropes. Okay, so this is one of those books that's like very much aware of the romance genre and is stuffing it full of the romance tropes. But it works for the style of book that it is. You know, it's cute and quirky, and overall it was a good time. It's a feel-good book. It is kind of sad. There are some heavier themes in here. Okay, we'll mention that. So it does obviously tackle grief as one of the themes. Bullying is a big one. So she was bullied as a teenager, and it talks about the kind of bullying that was perpetrated against her, and it is something that has affected the rest of her life. There's also awful relationships with shitty parents, depression. So yeah, there are heavier topics and themes in here, but overall it did feel like a romantic comedy. And I like the romantics, and I liked the afterlife of the party. So I did enjoy this, you know. I don't mind. I like that that genre of, you know, someone trying to beat death or start their life again. What would they do differently if they had a second chance? That kind of thing. But yeah, you know, there's fake dating, the one bed trope, love triangle. There's a whole bunch, just a whole bunch. Enemies to lovers, you know, all that jazz is in here. But yeah, this was a good read. So 4.25. So I finished those two books yesterday. And today I've already started reading, but I'll put today's tally, the total, up on the screen here of how much I got read, but I did start. Clearly I was not prepared before I started filming. I did start House of Dragons by Jessica Cluess. So it does have the 5 POVs of the 5 contenders. It is very YA. There is brutality in it. One of the competitors is cutthroat. I'm 100 pages in. I don't know if I'm going to finish it, just because I feel like it just might be a little bit too young for me. And the writing is very simplistic, and the characters are fine, they're varied, but it just feels very cliche, very standard fantasy tournament dragon kind of book. So I might give it a bit longer. How many pages is this? This one is a 400-page book, so I might give it halfway. I might go to 200 pages and then decide. But if it's feeling like less than 3.5 stars, I just will DNF it, because that's the parameter now. Unless it's feeling 3.5 or up, I DNF. So I'll give it another 100 pages, and I'm sure I'll get that reading today. So today I was meant to go on a date with Beauty. It's not happening. 2 hours before our date, she did cancel, which I just had a feeling was going to be the case. She just cited that her life is just too hectic at the moment for her to, and she just doesn't have the time to give to romantic endeavors. Look, her reasons are her own. It is another lesson for me that if I've been chatting to someone 3.5 weeks, it's too long. You should be able to meet someone within 1 week, to be honest with you. That I think is a reasonable amount of time. If you're on a dating app, then it's obviously your intention to date. And if you're chatting to someone, meeting up within a week should be the deal. Okay, maybe 2 weeks at most. Like obviously if someone gets sick, I know I did reschedule our first date, which still was set a week ahead from when we started chatting because she was so busy. But she also was happy to cancel because she said she actually had to stay home because something was wrong with her apartment and she needed to wait for her landlord. So she was totally fine with that. But then the fact that she's like, well, I can't see you though for another 2 weeks because I'm just that busy. And like I was talking to her every day. She was going out every day with people, I don't know who, obviously doing things, jazz club, dinner, movies, just constant. I'm like, you couldn't, all these people have filled your 2 weeks, but you couldn't find 2 hours for the woman that you're chatting to every single day on, you know, with romantic intentions. So yeah, I just wasn't a priority for her. I wish her the best, but I'm not interested romantically. It's that whole thing of, I was very excited. We got along really well. I do think we could possibly be friends, but like I said, just not, we're not a romantic match. And that's okay, it's fine. I'm not too sad about it because I just felt it was coming. I just knew it was coming. But thank God, because I did book a restaurant for us today and I would have had to go alone because you don't get your money back. You only get 50% back if you cancel within 24 hours in some restaurants. So I called my bestie, Kate, and she's come in clutch for me, and we're going together, having a best friends date. And at least we're going to a restaurant that I've been dying to go to. I've been really wanting to check it out. So I'm happy. It's all good. You know, that person wasn't for me. And I'm sure the person for me is around the corner. He's just around the corner. So we'll see. I'm not chatting to anybody at the moment either. The people that I was talking to, none of them got my fires burning. I wasn't thrilled, you know, I wasn't excited. So I said, you know, good luck, but I'm not feeling the connection. Yeah, it is what it is. Still single, but content, you know? I will see you guys when I return. I think I'm going to check out a bookstore. I'm thinking about doing a future themed vlog. So if I don't short, it's because I've decided, yeah, I'm going to do this future vlog. But I'm also going to hit up a cheesecake store that's in the CBD because I like the cheesecake. I'll see you guys when I return. And I think I probably will do an update today on if I decided to push through with this or DNF after 200 pages.
The cat is not seriously. All right, let's eat it. Oliver! I'm not a sexy eater, man.
Oh, they're playing music already.
Yeah, it feels really nightclubby.
Hello guys, so cafe, fantastic. Would definitely go back. Loved everything about it, including the company of me and my bestie. And then we went to Metropolis bookstore. I've decided I'm going to do a whole vlog just based on books from that bookstore because it was one of the coolest bookstores I've ever been into. They had books that I have never heard before in my life. So we're going to go back, maybe my best friend Kate, and just grab random set of books and do a whole reading vlog on that. And then we went and stopped into La Tao, which is like this very bougie, upscale cheesecake shop. So I bought one cheesecake, the tiramisu one. It's okay. It's so expensive. So probably wouldn't go back there again. But I had a fantastic day, just got home, and now I'm going to relax and read some books. I did start reading in the car. So I started reading this one in the car, in the Uber. I started reading House of Dragons, as you know, and I'm about 200 pages in, and I think I'm just going to continue. I don't think it's going to be high rated, but it's kind of fun. You know, it's just a typical YA dragon tournament, who's going to win, and become emperor or empress? Are they going to turn on each other? Are they going to form alliances? There's romances brewing. So I'm going to continue going unless it gets worse. If it gets worse, then no. But so far, I'm kind of enjoying it. Blue Val, every time. Every time, every time, every time. Good morning. So yesterday you would notice that was a high page to minute amount, and that's because one of the books was a graphic novel, one was a book of poetry. Sorry for the voice, but I'm having a bit of a flare up. Too many days out socializing. So I am currently on page 260 of this one. I am continuing to read on because the plot is interesting enough for me to want to know how it ends. It's currently feeling like a 3.5 star, but that's fine. So I am pushing through with this one. I did read this book in full. It is Beautiful Chaos by Jessica Ehrlich. This is a book of poetry. Oh, I've obviously bookmarked that one. Okay, that was the favorite poem of mine. I'm your safe place. I get it. I get all of it. The screams, the tears, the tantrums. I am your home. Always know you're safe here with me. She would also put little quotes, bits from the poem on pages like that. But overall, I found this one to be pretty sappy, and all of the poems were very homogenous. They all really sounded the same. You could have been anyone. I'm so thankful you're you. I was your reason and you were mine, the moment our worlds stood still in time. For I thought I was growing you when you were growing me too. They all sort of felt like Hallmark poems, like something you'd find in a Hallmark card. It's just not my type of poetry, so this really didn't do anything for me whatsoever. But it's got great ratings on Goodreads, so if it's your kind of poetry, you know, very sweet and tender and they rhyme and you love the Hallmark poems, then this would be for you. But yeah, I was looking for something a bit more nitty-gritty, especially when it says Beautiful Chaos on motherhood, finding yourself and overwhelming love, but it was just a bit too saccharine for me. Apologies for the sound, someone is always doing their gardening here. So then we have The Fox Maidens by Robin Ha. So this is a graphic novel and I'll show you some of the illustrations. So this is a book that centers around Korean mythology, and basically a young girl becomes a fox demon spirit and learns that if she wants to revert back to her human body, she must consume the liver of a very bad man every full moon. It doesn't have to be a very bad man, but that's how she sort of keeps a clean conscience, I guess. Along the way too, there is some sapphic love. So there is a sapphic love story in here, but overall the book was very bleak, very depressing. And I don't know, overall it was okay, but just the story itself, yeah, it was just darker and grimmer than I was anticipating. And the sapphic love story is just a little itty bitty portion. You know, there's a lot about women doing things that only men should be able to do, and are the monsters really that monstrous? The whole thing of obligation to your family and traditions. Yeah, if I was going to rate it, I'd probably give it a 3.5 stars. It was fine, but I don't know, it wasn't quite what I was expecting it to be. And this is very misleading. This makes me think it's like a lady duo the whole time. It is not. So yeah, maybe I would have liked it more if there was more romance in there and it wasn't so sad. But that was The Fox Maidens. So today I'm going to continue on reading this, and I'm probably going to pick up another book. Let me see what I've got. I think I've got Middle of the Night by Riley Sager on my e-reader, so that's a choice. This is also another book, Why We Die, The New Science of Aging and the Quest for Immortality. Could also pick this up. I don't know, we'll see what I feel like. Oh, damn. I'll put the total hours I spent reading up here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, which I think is the final day. Today's Wednesday, so yeah, tomorrow's day 5, and then obviously I'll report on day 6 what the total amount was during the week and compare it to last time I read for 5 days. Rosella's in the garden. Yeah, there's Rosella's. I think that's what they are. Okay guys, hey Sylvie. So yesterday I did manage to finish House of Dragons by Jessica Cloyce. That's blue. Forever Moves, that's blue. So I'm going to give this 3.25. So you've got the 5 children of nobles competing for the crown. You've got a bloodthirsty villainess, a soggy biscuit former warrior, a know-it-all Carrie, a brat with step-on-me-mummy issues, and a sapphic servant who's got a knack for dragons, loves animals. And where do I begin? So look, I did continue reading on because I was intrigued by the story. I did just want to see who was going to be crowned, who would win. The ending, I don't know, guys. It just felt a bit silly. The writing is very basic, very simple. This felt like it oscillated between middle grade and YA and a bit of adult. It was a bit odd in that way, be feeling very young and then boom, severe violence and brutality. And I'm like, what is this? I know it's YA, but yeah, I think it was trying to be real dark. And some of the characters, look, the most interesting one was the bloodthirsty villainess, the cutthroat bitch. She was the most interesting. I feel like she should have been more cutthroat with the other contenders considering what she did, but then she sort of showed that side at the end. So she sort of oscillated between her character and then the author trying to make her still likable. There is obviously romance brewing in this. I don't know, it just felt a bit unpolished. It was fine. Look, I just feel like it's trying to be, you know, one of the most successful, you know, YA sort of fantasy books. So you've got like Harry Potter, you've got, well, no, Harry Potter's middle grade, is it? Hunger Games and Divergent, you know, all of those books that made it big and had their own movies. Indy said that this is a TV series. I'll Google it. If it is, I'll put it up here. But after reading it, I did see that the author has a lot of controversy around them. So some people were boycotting leaving a review. Obviously, I didn't know. Kid picked it from the library. I just started reading it without looking up reviews or anything of the like. Like I said, it's a 3.25. It was entertaining. It did feel a bit young and sort of all over the place with the 5 POVs. I don't feel like they were utilized really effectively. I don't feel it was necessary to have all of those characters. Like, I really do feel the servant, sapphic trainer girl was just such put in there as sort of cliche character. Or we have to have someone who's queer. We have to have someone who's poor. We have to have someone who loves animals and doesn't care about winning the trial. I don't know. It just felt very manufactured, you know, like following a recipe, sort of. That's how I felt about this one, but 3.25, still entertaining. Hoping to start and finish Riley Sager's Middle of the Night this evening for the last day before I tally everything up tomorrow. I am so tired. I had my personal training session today and I got humbled real bad. I got my ass handed to me. I'm actually going to go and take a nap right now. That's how wiped I am. And it is very demoralizing when you think, oh, I'm making gains, I'm getting stronger. And then they'll say, all right, let's do this exercise. And you flailing like a weakling. And I don't like that feeling. I don't like being like really sucking at things. It's probably why I haven't tried more. I haven't really attempted, I guess, things that I'm pretty much aware that I would really be really bad at to begin with, because I just don't like the feeling of not being able to do something at least half okay. But there was like some exercises today. Like I normally do bicep curls and I do 8 kilos, but she had me do it from a bench. So you put your arm on your bench. That way you were not able to engage your shoulder or any sort of like swing momentum whatsoever. It is just all bicep. And I had to go down to 5 kilos because this arm, my lefty, just failed. I got like 3 in and I was like, oh, she ain't moving. She can't get it up. So I had to do 5 kilos to compensate for my weakest arm.
Woo, that's heavy. I better use my strong hand.
So I'm like, okay, that's a big discrepancy between 5 and 8. So yeah, but like, it's okay. I've got something to work towards and I'm hoping to just get a bit more consistency in because the kids were so sick. And in winter, I get a lot of chronic fatigue and my energy levels just drop. I have not been putting in much effort when it comes to exercise, because I don't like doing it. I know some people get the endorphin boost and an energy spike after exercise. I am not. I am exhausted after exercise. I am sore. I don't enjoy the experience of it. So it's one of those things I have to force myself to do because of all of my health conditions. I have to do the form and do the exercise to prevent further damage or pain. And I have been slacking and my body has been feeling it. My pain levels have increased. So I'm like, okay, Chanel, time to get back on the horse and do what's best for you. So cute. Because also it's going to get warmer soon. And like I said, I was determined to make this my Linda Hamilton year. And like, I haven't been, I've been sort of doing it, but I can do more. I can prioritize a little bit of movement, even if it's just like my physio, she's a physio PT, said, even if it's just stretching that day, just do some kind of movement, just lie on the floor and stretch. So I'm like, you know what, I can do that while my kids are watching their show. I can do that. I've just got to it's just getting into the habit. It's all about habit forming. I need to go nap. I need to go nap and replenish my energy stores and then eat a nice big satisfying lunch to reward myself. Because that's how I work. I am a food as reward person. It's not as a reward, it makes me feel good. So I'm like, okay, it's okay, Chanel. You're going to go work out, but then you're going to come home and you're going to have lasagna. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah. Put in the effort instead of just like a sandwich or whatever I make, that's quick and easy. I'm like, in lasagna today, babes. Followed by a brownie. Because dessert, always, I cannot finish a meal without something sweet. I have to end on sweet. All right, guys, so I'll see you tomorrow. I'll let you know how middle of the night was. I will, if I have to like stay up in bed for an hour, I will finish it. I just want to get one more book in for this week. And then, oh my God, I gotta go. Okay, so I read the last book, which was Middle of the Night. This is about a kid that goes missing from a backyard sleepover, and 30 years later, all the other children in the cul-de-sac reconvene and return home with a truckload of trauma. Are there ghosts? Or is someone messing with them, and what really happened to poor little old Billy? I decided to give this a 3.25 stars. It was fine. There is a mix of supernatural. There is some supernatural elements to this book, some cult-like vibes, typical thriller twist whodunits, red herrings all around. The main character was incredibly dry. No personality besides, should have been me instead of Billy. So yeah, 3.25, it was fine. But let's take a look at the whole week. So the statistics have proven my thesis correct that I definitely am reading less than I used to. So I'll put the two charts up here. So this week I did read for a total of 10 hours and 25 minutes, which equates to about 2 hours and 5 minutes of reading per day. There were 1,760 pages, which is about 352 pages per day. So it does come out as more pages per day, but two of the books that I read were like a poetry book and a graphic novel. So even though they have 300 plus pages, there are less words per page than the previous challenge that I did. And I read a total of 6 books in these 5 days, where last time I read 13. And as you can see, I read almost 20 hours last time. So I have halved my reading, has halved, which is more than I was expecting. I was expecting maybe 25% less, but no, my reading has been cut in half. And that's just because I used to have 2 days to myself. So one day I would spend socializing, going out, doing everything. And then one day I would literally just spend reading. So you'll see last time too, I spent 9 hours that day reading, because that was my reading day where I got the bulk of my reading done. Because I only have one day off now, that day is literally, socializing, running errands. So I don't have a dedicated reading day anymore. I put some little speed test things up here though to show you that your reading rate can vary greatly based on a lot of factors. So this is obviously just based on the content alone of what I was reading. My reading speed went from 500 to 700, whatever it was, because of the style of the paragraph that I was reading. I think the lowest one was a nonfiction. So there was a lot of facts and statistics that I had to remember in order to get a 100% comprehension. So it slowed my reading down greatly. So content affects reading speed. Environment for me does. When the kids are home, I read a lot slower because I just have to filter out so much extraneous stimuli, and even your own energy levels. So what's going on internally. If I'm tired, I will read slower. So reading rate varies, but yes, I am reading less. So I don't think I'll be reading 60 books a month anymore, or probably 30 or less, but it doesn't really matter, it's all arbitrary. I just wanted to confirm my feeling that I think I'm reading less than I normally do, and I am. So let's take a look at all of the books that I did read this week. I was going to say this 5-day challenge, but no, I did read some books before I started the 5-day challenge. So we had Everything You Ever Wanted by Louisa Salma. I listened to 3 hours of this and then I chose to DNF it. We have Dreadful by Caitlin Rozakis. I gave this a 4 stars. The Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood. I gave this a 4.25 stars. The Fox Maidens by Robert Ha. I sort of gave this a 3.5 stars. Middle of the Night by Riley Sager, which I gave 3.25 stars. And Beautiful Chaos by Jessica Ehrlichs, which I don't know what I would rate this, like a 3. It's a book of poetry. The best read for this week was The Love of My Afterlife, which was a 3.25 stars. This was my best read. I've just realized that so far this month I have not had a 5-star book. The best read I've had thus far was As It Is on Television, which I gave 4.5. So I am still on the hunt for a 5-star read. But until next time, stay wild, Star Child.